Hey guys, we are back for week 8 of the 4th and 5 TTJHSports College Football Fantasy League. I'm here with Josh Richter of 4th and 5. We're back. We drafted off camera this time around, like we've been doing lately. Here are the teams. We got a pretty stacked slate for week 8. A bunch of solid games. Josh, what are your thoughts going into week 8?
Dude, man, the week 8 slate, kind of hard to say right there, is actually kind of loaded. Us as college football fans have really been spoiled this season with a lot of great games every single week, including week 3 when everybody was kind of sleeping on week 3. But I think week 8's even better. A lot of big games. Washington's obviously coming off the huge win against Oregon when they're going up against a kind of getting a little, I don't want to say a break. I'm not trying to call them out like that, like Arizona State. But we also have like Duke, Florida State, Utah, USC, Bama, Tennessee. Gosh, the list goes on, man. But I'm very excited for this weekend.
Yeah, you didn't even mention my game of the week. At least we'll get into it a little later on, but for right now, man, let's look at our two teams. Like we said, here's the graphic of my team and Josh's team for week 8. Josh, who are you most excited about on the offensive side of the ball for your team?
Yeah, so the player that is definitely highlighting my offense this week was actually deemed eligible just a few weeks ago on October 5th. He is Tez Walker of the North Carolina Tar Heels, wide receiver for the North Carolina Tar Heels. His first game back, he went against Syracuse where he got 43 yards on 6 receptions. Well, last week he also had 6 receptions for 132 yards, so a lot better, and 3 touchdowns. Just 2 games in, he's become the Tar Heels' 5th leading receiver on the team, and they're playing, I believe, Virginia, a 1-5 Virginia, and I just think this is a game where Tez Walker can really show out. Him and Drake May seem to be rolling right now.
Yeah, no, I love what that North Carolina team is doing. I feel like they don't get a lot of hype, if that makes sense. I feel like not like everyone kind of looks at, Florida State doing really well. I feel like a lot of people look at Duke, how they've kind of emerged from their past seasons, but North Carolina, I feel like a little bit is sliding under the radar, and they could be a definitely a possibility to win the ACC if they catch Florida State in the championship game. But yeah, I love what that North Carolina team is doing. I love their defense, of course, but their offense has been right there too. And I feel like that's, what are they, 12th in the country right now? I feel like that's a perfect reason why they're there.
Yeah, definitely. The Tar Heel offense is looking to really start becoming more and more explosive the more they bring in Tez Walker to the mix. And speaking of explosive offenses, Tyler, who is highlighting your offense?
Yeah, so the two players that my offense, the common theme between them is consistency. So first, I'm going to highlight Troy Franklin, wide receiver out of Oregon. He's reached the end zone in 4 out of the 5 games he's played. The last 3, he's reached the end zone, and 2 of those last 3, he's reached the end zone twice. So he's getting catches, and he's getting productive catches. And a player like that, why wouldn't you want him on his team, on your team? Especially, him playing in a powerful offense like Oregon's, and of course I got Bo Nix on my team too. So kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone there. But the other player that's I feel like is really consistent on my team as of late has been Missouri running back Cody Schrader. In the last 5 games, he's scored 6 touchdowns, including 3 against LSU 2 weeks ago. So you kind of got to get them while they're hot in this stage of the game. And I feel like Schrader's definitely going to tear it up once again against South Carolina.
Dude, I really like that pick because, like you said, Missouri is coming off of, well, the whole season they've kind of been hot except for that one game that they dropped. But that and Troy Franklin, Ducks are going to want revenge, and I think they're going to come swinging on Wazoo this week.
Yeah, no, it'll be kind of catching Wazoo while they're still down a little bit. So, yeah, I feel like that'll be a good matchup. But, Josh, let's take a look at defense. Who are you highlighting over there?
So while we're on the topic of the Oregon Ducks, I just wanted to highlight my defensive player, Tysheem Johnson, defensive back, who is coming off the loss to the Washington Huskies. But now they're getting the Cougars of Washington State, who have proven to be better than most people think they were going to be this season. They did drop those 2 games in a row, so they aren't ranked anymore. Washington State's offense is explosive when they want to be. Keywords, when they want to be. As anybody else in the country. And I think Oregon's defensive backs and secondaries are going to have to definitely step it up. Also, I would like to point out he doesn't have an interception this year, but I think this game at home would be a good one for him to get it in.
Yeah, no, he's definitely due, man. Especially like you said, on against a Washington State offense that's kind of been a little spotty as of late. I feel like he's due to make some numbers, if not get his first pick of the year. But for my defense, I'm switching over to I'm staying in the SEC rather. I'm going to highlight Trey Washington, safety from Ole Miss. He's got 42 total tackles on the season, and he's coming off a big game against Arkansas 2 weeks ago where he had 10 total tackles. 3 of them being assists. He also hasn't had an interception yet, but with the numbers he's been putting up, he's had 5 or more tackles in every game that he's played in so far. I feel like it's only a matter of time before he gets, pass deflection or an interception maybe.
Dude, I really like that pick. And going on the road, this is going to be a game. Auburn brought it to Georgia a few weeks ago when they hosted the Bulldogs, and now they're getting the chance to host the Rebels. So I definitely think Trey Washington will get the opportunity to play a lot this game.
Now, like we said, man, it's a stacked week 8 that a lot of people are might be kind of overlooking a little bit, but of course we got to start it off with my game of the week. The college game days there once again, right? So yeah, I'm gonna highlight Penn State and Ohio State. Penn State ranked at number 7, Ohio State ranked at number 3. That one's on Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Central, 11 a.m. Central rather. So yeah, I feel like Ohio State, we looked at them against Maryland a little bit. They let Maryland kind of hang around, and Penn State, arguably, I think this is the best shot Penn State's had in quite some time to really make a run for the Big Ten championship and maybe even a college football playoff spot. But I feel like it'll come down to home field advantage in this one. Maybe Ohio State will kind of use that to their advantage. But if it's any Penn State team that I think can knock off Ohio State in Columbus, I think it's this year's team. So it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out.
I love that pick because that game has such big playoff and ranking implications, I think. Kind of like my game that I've picked out for this week in one of the most anticipated games here in the South. A 6-1 Tennessee is on the road to face 5-1 Alabama. And the last time these two teams saw one another, they were both undefeated. Tennessee won in that thriller of a game up in Knoxville last year. Fans stormed the field. It was crazy. But this game is down in Tuscaloosa. It's in T-Town, and the stakes are much different. The loser of this game, their playoff chances are dead, pretty much. Especially, maybe not next year with 12 teams, but with 4 teams, you can count on that. 2 losses, you're out. These teams this year are kind of a shell of what they were last year. I think this game's going to come down to the quarterback play.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point, man. The quarterback play is definitely going to be a big factor in that one. And also just overall defense. Alabama's defense, of course, has the capability of firing on all cylinders as well as any team in the country when you have guys like Chris Braswell and Dallas Turner up front and true freshman Caleb Downs, who you also have on your team in the secondary. So, man, it's going to be an all-around great matchup. I feel like, once again, it's kind of hard to top what it was last season, but I feel like this time in Tuscaloosa, it'll definitely be another one of those games where it's kind of just up to grabs until the final minute.
Yeah, I think most SEC fans are going to be tuned into this one.
Yeah, that'll be a good one, man. Another great week of college football. We seem to say that every week, but, man, it's true. College football is great. Every week of college football is great. Just having it in general, it's awesome. So we'll be tuned in. I'm sure all y'all will be tuned in, and looking forward to another great weekend.